What's up? What's up, guys? It's the TNT Business Podcast. I'm your host, KT Temple, and here, just as punctual as ever, Kent Temple has showed up, and we had to show up today because we're going on a cruise in a couple days, so we had to record today.
Well, I wanted to point out that you were not on last week's podcast, and I was.
Yeah.
How about that, big boy?
No, our ghost host, Joseph Klosik, was.
Yeah, Joseph. Me and Joseph were on there. Yep.
He's got. You know what? I'm going to start the episodes now and be like, someone didn't show up for work today. Joseph's not here again, and just do that since he's been on so many episodes recently. So we got. I'm excited for this episode because I get to talk about nerd stuff again and force my dad to listen to me. But we sprinkled in financials too, so that he could feel a part of the conversation.
Well, all I know is I get to tell everybody at the end how much a trillion really is. So if you want to know how much a trillion is, hang around to the end.
So before we get started, guys, we do have to thank our sponsor, the Temple Team. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you can find us at thetempleteam.com. We've got real estate agents from the Statesville area all the way down to Fort Mill, and we're located in the Lake Norman, Charlotte area. And even if those areas aren't the areas you're looking in, still reach out to us. We've got a network of top-class real estate agents all around the country, even internationally, that we would love to connect you with, because the worst thing is to hook up with a bad realtor. So skip that. Call us. We'll make sure you're connected with somebody great. So that's thetempleteam.com. All right. So let's rag on Elon Musk for 20 minutes. I'm excited about it.
Well, quickly. All right. So before we go into the IPO and the SpaceX and the trillion and all that, a lot of people may be tuned in going, maybe they'll talk about Iran because they said, hey, when this is over. So, guys, right now we're on just the front end of finding out what's going on. Next week, we're going to do an update on what it looks like and what the economy is going to look like and how fast we think it's going to come back. Just to tell you quickly, because KT and I are taping this late afternoon on Monday. Oil prices tumbled today. Stock market did phenomenal today. Predictions are that fuel and food prices will come down quickly, which will cause the inflation that has been bothering us to go down. When the Fed meets, KT, this is going to take the pressure off the Fed because there was a chance, not much of one, but there was a chance they could have raised rates coming up. They're still not going to lower them now because they still got to watch inflation. But I think this gets them just to probably stay par for the course. So anyway, a lot to watch this week. Tune in next week, and we're going to give you the full rundown about once we're a week into this and once it has officially been signed, what it looks like.
Yeah, so I'm going to let my dad talk all next week because I know he'll be sitting on his iPad on the cruise ship. I won't be. So he'll have to update you guys. I'll have no idea what's going on by the time I come in next week. All right. So we are going to talk about the SpaceX IPO and kind of the different things that are happening here because, you know, we could make this into 2 episodes. We almost did. Doing a financial episode and an AI episode, but they really are completely connected in all of this. So the general thing about this is that SpaceX, which is not just SpaceX, it's SpaceX, that is Twitter, X is also included in that, and all the AI, you know, Twitter AI, basically, XAI, all of that is now owned by SpaceX, and they are about to IPO.
Or they did. No, they did IPO.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, IPO quickly that's the initial public offering. This is when a company goes from privately held to publicly held, which, by the way, KT, when you were born, that was the main thing to do. So in the early 90s, there were almost 8,000 publicly traded companies. You know, that was the way to get money. You know, today we're under 4,000. I think it's like 3,600. It's backed way, way up. And it just a couple reasons. First off, when you IPO, everything's public. There are no hiding. You have to report everything on a quarterly basis. You know, so that has been a problem. You know, in the last decade, we've been on a huge merger and acquisition. So a lot of publicly traded companies bought other ones, and the big merger part. But the big thing is you know, you have all this more private money that has come in. Your private equity and venture capital people that'll come in and put the money in. You still have to report kind of to them, but it's not like the public reporting. So IPO is not the darling that it once was in terms of ways to raise money, but you're not going to get a venture capitalist to give you whatever $1.1 trillion or no, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Now, that they said SpaceX is worth.
It dwarfs actual profitable companies, because this is the big catch in this. The Nasdaq has adopted a new fast entry rule, which is just for Elon Musk, which allows them to accommodate Elon Musk bringing the SpaceX listing. And so this rule allows a giant company to bypass the traditional, I think it's called the seasoning period, where you have to prove your company is profitable. You have to prove your liquidity, and they just get to skip all of that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, who cares about rules? Well, here's the thing, KT. Based on their valuation, they're already the sixth most profitable company in the United States, or the sixth highest valued company in the United States. Their value,
which is
their
that makes me so frustrated about this.
But the amount of money that the market says they are worth is more than the entire gross domestic product of all but 21 countries in the whole world.
Yeah,
just that one company is worth more than the entire value of most countries out there.
Yeah.
Yet they've never made a penny. I mean, they lose billions.
Well, they were making a profit. They really were before the AI came in there, because they've got the great business of Starlink. Like, Starlink is a proper functional business, and that was where they were making profit, and they were losing money off SpaceX. But now they've added the AI portion of it, building all this infrastructure and data centers, and it's over double what the profit of Starlink is how much money they are losing, because they added that company in there. And I can almost guarantee you they're going to funnel Tesla into this later on, so that Musk gets his big old pay package by proving they are,
that would be a tough one, because Tesla's worth so much. But by the way, since you said Starlink, it is phenomenal. I've used mobile Starlink. Yeah. It is amazing. I'm really thinking about getting it at my house.
It is the best. It's awesome. Yeah. It's what it's done cool for underprivileged people who don't have access to internet. It's a great product. And that was floating them, and it's literally the only thing that is profitable in this whole thing. And so the reason why this comes back to retirement funds, which I really didn't understand until getting into this. So SpaceX will automatically and immediately be bundled into index funds like the Nasdaq 100, the S&P 500. So this means ordinary retail investors with passive income portfolios, so you just have money automatically going in, will automatically buy into SpaceX. You don't get a choice. It just happens.
Right.
And the way that SpaceX, the creative accounting that they did to get to this financial thing is the other thing that I don't think people realize. They're only putting in, it's a super small percentage. I don't know the exact number, but 10% of the company's stock are available. So it's like a very small percentage is even available for investors to buy into, which is creating an artificial scarcity, which is raising this price so much.
Well, there's more than that available. You have to remember, Elon owns 44%.
Yeah.
Just himself.
Mm-hmm.
So almost half he owns outright. So, I mean, that's why that's why this man is now worth $1.1 trillion.
Yeah. So it's sketchy. It's very sketchy, because the company is not profitable. At the rate they're going, they never will be profitable if they sink this much money into data centers. And one of the ways they got this is they also said that they were going to create data centers in space, which, if you look into for 5 seconds, is the dumbest thing that does not work. Yeah. We are barely, like the chip shortage and everything that happened over the past year, because all these AI companies were buying up all these computers and everything. Most of those computers that were purchased are sitting in a warehouse right now, not being used, because we can't get data centers to launch on Earth. There are so many that are canceled, not happening. We don't
Right.
have data centers here. How are they going to build them in space? It does not work. You don't have enough power. You don't have enough cooling. And it's hilarious to think that they can build a data center on the moon.
KT also believes that man has not been to the moon, but that's a different
I
story,
believe that. I'm not that kind of conspiracy theorist. I listened to a bunch of John F. Kennedy assassination videos to know that they're not,
Yeah, I don't know. I just never say never. I remember, when I was a kid, one of the sci-fi things was like the spies would be talking into their watch, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that'll never happen." So just be careful. Anyway, I looked up what you were talking about. The general public could only buy about 5% of SpaceX, 5%. but that's because about 30% was held for institutional investors, which was a large percentage.
Yeah.
So that still goes into that big pie that people are buying into, through that. So,
yeah. So we went through the evaluation. This really does go back to what you were saying, which is IPOs aren't the darling anymore.
No, they're not, and as many have been failures, as have been good. But I think there is something to be said. You notice that there's going to be a couple more coming up, and SpaceX jumped out first, and I think they were smart to do that.
Yeah,
that they took up a lot of now. What a lot of people thought was going to happen, KT, that a lot of other stocks would suffer. In other words, people would pull money out of other stuff and throw in SpaceX. Stock market is doing pretty good. It's now granted the announcement about a potential peace deal in Iran probably helps that. But on Friday was the key day when all of a sudden you could put money into SpaceX and the stock market still went up across the board.
Yeah. The reason you mentioned, their timing is good on this is because all the other AI companies are going to go public. I think the last one that is going to get to IPO is going to be ChatGPT, and that's going to be rough on them because there's only so much money to go around, so much money to invest. And if SpaceX doesn't do well, then people are going to lose a lot of trust by the time ChatGPT gets to come on the market and see if they can drive up any revenue. And so this kind of leads back into my prediction that there's an AI bubble happening. And that could be that's going to be the one to watch to see how much of a bubble the public actually thinks this is, if they take a risk on 3 different AI companies instead of just, diving into one.
Well, the thing is, KT, here's why they wanted to go first. If SpaceX is doing really well, who's going to pull their money out of that to go into the next one if it's doing really well? Okay, so but also, what if it's not doing well? So if it's not doing well, the ones that are going to follow, the big ones that are coming out, they might go, we might pause. Now we might have to wait. Or people might say, well, why would I invest in that? Look at SpaceX, it's failing. So to me, being on the front end is a huge advantage for them. And that's why this one got to the market fast.
Yeah.
They didn't waste any time.
Yeah, Elon Musk is really loving that because of how much he hates Sam Altman right now. Yeah, he's really stoked about this. So, I mean, that's my update, man. I'm surprised that the Nasdaq changed its rules for this, and I think it's a really scary precedent to set. And if it goes poorly, I think that again, that's a lot of trust out of Nasdaq. Something that I don't think about is Nasdaq is a privately owned company. I don't know why I don't ever think of it like that. To me, it's like a government institution, but it's just a business like anything else.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. My brain thinks of it differently. But yeah, so yeah, that's the update. Anything else?
So
yeah, you had something else you want to go into from this.
So yeah, I want to talk about, Elon Musk is the first trillionaire. Mm-hmm. Trillionaire. Trillionaire at one time, KT, was a made-up word. It was like a quadrillion. It was just something that people talked about before they actually assigned a number to it, because it was, because you couldn't, you couldn't even imagine it. So I'm going to tell you now, in case you would like to know how much a trillion is. And this is just stuff that I've stolen off of things that I have looked up. So KT, if you personally make $84,000 a year, okay, it would take you 12 million years to make $1 trillion. I mean, that's a lot. You could buy every single piece of property in Houston, Texas. The value of all the property in Houston is only worth $879 billion. So you can just buy Houston. I'll still have a couple $100 billion left over. You could give every single person on this planet $122 because there's about 8.5 billion people on the planet. With $1 trillion, you could buy every single car maker in the United States, Europe, and Japan, excluding Tesla. But you could buy all the other car makers in US, Europe, and Japan and still have $100 billion left over to splurge on something. All right, here's my favorite. This is incredible to me. 1 million seconds. How long do you think 1 million seconds is?
I don't know.
So 1 million seconds.
I feel like a month, but I don't know.
It's 11 and a half days.
Okay.
So a week and a half. Okay. How long do you think 1 billion seconds is?
A year?
Just over 31 and a half years.
Oh, okay.
1 billion seconds is 31. KT, you just crossed 1 billion seconds alive.
Yeah.
Just now. So that means 1 trillion seconds is almost 32,000 years.
I don't even know what to do with that information.
I mean, it's just insane to think how big that number is.
It was a made-up word.
Yeah, and trillion was just a made-up word. I mean, that's how incomprehensible it is, though, to get to 1 trillion.
Yeah.
1 trillion seconds is 32,000 years.
Now, figure out how to do that without a profitable company, and then you can really, really figure that out, man.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
Guys.
It is. I'm gonna tell you, it's crazy to me. It goes back? What's the? I'm not a big movie guy. Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Where the guy was like frozen and he came back and $1 million and he had to up it.
Yeah.
Okay.
KT, thinking of that too, when it's Dr. Evil going $1 million, quadrillion, gazillion dollars.
Yeah. But the thing is, but that movie's not that old.
Yeah.
And now here we're, forget 1 billion. Now we're talking about
trillionaire.
Anyway.
All right.
There you go.
We'll be back next week with the update on the Iran war. So check that out. If you found this episode interesting, feel free to leave us a review. Helps us out a lot, guys, on whatever podcast thing you're listening on. And thank you again to our sponsor, the Temple Team. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, find us at thetempleteam.com. See you guys next week.